Oh, yesterday is behind me, so I can't dwell on it for too long. There's just too much ahead of me to look at, and I know I simply can't go wrong. Jimmy Buffett. Both of my daughters, Carla, a ninth grader, and Mandy, who's in 10th grade, are very intelligent girls. They're not overly popular among their male peers, which doesn't bother me or them. Rather, it's their own choice, as both of their external qualities are quite above average, at least. Moreover, it seems that thanks to their intellect, even at such a young age, they can easily see through the insincere advances of their peers. My wife and the girl's mother's name is Amanda. I know my opinion is biased, but she's still a very attractive lady. Fit, slim woman with a great figure. We met at a summer party in a young crowd the year I finished college. She was working as a secretary at the time and had just gone through a failed romance. I was warned that getting involved with a partner who is in the rebound stage after a recent breakup usually doesn't lead to anything good, and Amanda and I indeed had our fair share of arguments early on. It's true that we never had a serious conversation about exclusive relationships, but I still felt hurt when I heard some time later that she was back with Nick Monroe, her former suitor. It set us back a few months, but ultimately we sat down and talked, and from then on, everything between us progressed as it should in traditional relationships. Amanda never gave me reason to doubt her loyalty. I, for my part, not only never cheated on her, but in fact, never came close to it. I'll be honest, I was never much of a ladies' man. Despite earning well, our family was hit hard by medical bills that depleted our savings. About 3 years ago, Amanda, driving in icy conditions, lost control and caused a pileup involving 5 cars. All 3 of my women were injured in that accident. With a $10,000 annual deductible per person, bone fractures and other injuries quickly drained our finances. Only by taking out a home equity loan were we able to settle the remaining medical bills. So, despite my wife earning only a third of what I make, we still rely on Amanda's income to pay off loans and try to save again for the girls' college fund. I've never heard my daughters discuss beauty pageants before, whether in a positive, negative, or indifferent light. So, I was somewhat surprised when one day they approached, giggling and nudging each other, together towards Amanda and handed her a flyer with information about the upcoming Sexiest Mom contest. "What do you say, Mom? We think you could win this by a landslide," they said, still giggling. Amanda glanced at the flyer for a moment before replying, "What's the point? I'm not looking for a new man, and frankly, I don't want any inappropriate propositions from some unknown jerks." "Yeah, but we'd be proud of you. Maybe you're just afraid to lose?" Carla teased.
No.
Amanda immediately responded, "Fine, here's what I'll tell you. I'll think about it." I wasn't sure what decision Amanda would make. That evening, she indeed had a thoughtful expression on her face. You could almost see the gears turning in her head. Waking up shortly before the alarm clock, I found myself engaged in a discussion with my already awake wife. "Carl, would you mind if I participated in the contest?" she asked cautiously. "Nah," I yawned. "That's entirely up to you, and I'll support whatever decision you make. Got it? It's your call." This elicited a tender coo from her. "You got me there. Don't worry, I'm not completely clueless." Amanda's hand slid below my waist, sending shivers down my body. We engaged in passionate sex. "Thank you, sweetheart. I want you to take just as much care of me tonight, cowboy," Amanda purred, falling onto my chest and kissing me sensually. Friday night at dinner, Carla demanded an answer. "So, what have you decided, Mom?" "The deadline for contest entries ends Sunday night. Who's the hottest mom around here?" "If it makes the 2 of you happy," Amanda replied, "fine, I will do it, but on 2 conditions. First, it will be our family event. And second, I expect both of you to help me in all aspects of the competition." Both daughters immediately let out piercing cries of delight and rushed to hug Amanda. As for me, I gladly stepped back. Saturday was quite tense, as my 3 ladies spent the day picking out wardrobes and rehearsing the contestant's speech. The entry fee of $30 was well spent. In fact, the main competition was for second place, as Amanda clearly looked the sexiest woman among the other contenders. And yes, she'd have to listen to some very inappropriate suggestions. With teenage daughters in the audience, you never know what they'll think or how they'll take an awkward situation. Although my girls just shrugged their shoulders and let the raucous cheers from the crowd pass their ears, it wasn't too pleasant for me either and caused a certain amount of anxiety. Do Mandy and Carla really have to put up with this kind of commentary and whistling at school? To the winner goes all the spoils. Personally, I benefited immensely from Amanda winning the grand prize. A mere $30 entry fee couldn't have bought a more passionate night of sex with an officially recognized mature beauty queen. As soon as my wife and I were alone, I got an exclusive striptease from the first prize winner of the competition. Of course, I gave her 10 points out of 10. Amanda then used her best oral presentation to drain my rod. It's a shame the scale ends at 10 because her skills deserved a higher score. Feeling a little obligated, I returned my domestic champion's oral pleasures. She had to wrap her arms around me and bury her face in a pillow to muffle her cries of pleasure. After this session, I was ready for action again, and it was a long night of sex, with short breaks for rest and recovery. As they say, Monday is a hard day, so the morning after such a great night was a real challenge for both of us. All four of us were gathered at the dining table when Amanda proudly announced, "Having won yesterday's contest, I now have the right to participate in the regional competitions." "Dope," Mandy blurted out immediately. "Excuse me, young lady, what did you say?" Amanda asked, frowning. Dope, well, it means cool, awesome. Keep up with the times, Mom," our sophisticated older daughter explained condescendingly. "Oh." I demanded more details from Amanda. "So, what does this mean?" "Well, they're holding another contest, only bigger. The rules are the same, but there's bound to be more contestants. I'm gonna need a different speech and sexier outfits." "It sounds cool. Is it at the same place as last time?" I asked her. "No, it will be in Dallas, on the second Sunday of next month." That's 600 miles from here," I said. "Do they give you money to cover expenses?" "No, not that I know of." "Never mind, forget I mentioned it. We can't afford to go there," Amanda sighed. "But Mom, you have to go," Mandy interjected energetically. "We can make it our family vacation this year. What is there to do in Dallas?" "I don't know. Your father and I will talk about it," Amanda replied thoughtfully, giving me a meaningful look. The talk meant that I would get the best sex I'd ever had since Amanda and I got married. The variety and frequency of our sessions had already started to make my knees weak. With promises of more pleasures to come, our vacation this year now included a 600-mile road trip to Dallas. At first, it wasn't too noticeable, but in the time leading up to our trip, Amanda had changed somewhat, and not entirely for the better. Yes, she was more confident than before, but she also became somewhat more dismissive of others. Our relationship gradually ceased to be the equal partnership it had been, unofficially maintained before as 50-50. The remarks and suggestions I made were usually brushed aside as trivial, and this began to worry me. I just hoped that she was simply nervous about the upcoming, bigger, and more important beauty contest. We left on Wednesday, and along the way we visited several attractions. By the weekend, we reached Dallas and spent Friday and Saturday as tourists. Fortunately, the weather was very favorable during these days. I paid for 2 rooms, so that the girls could have their own personal space. There was an interior door between our rooms, so they were not left completely on their own. I was pleased that I managed to have a good time with our contest participant again. As for the upcoming competition, Amanda's eyes once again showed uncertainty, bordering on fear, just like the first time. Among the many participants, there were plenty of delightfully looking mature women. Amanda, although I was nervous, fit in perfectly with this appetizing company. If our local contest was attended by a modest audience of just 100 people, here in Dallas, the ladies paraded in front of, as announced, over 2,000 spectators. Moreover, I am sure that this influx was directly related to the promotion announced by the organizers: buy 1 beer and get the second free. The drunken laughter and shouting from the seats with demands to show tits, panties, and fuck right on the stage spoiled the whole experience for me. Surprisingly, the girls sitting next to me again looked quite unperturbed in such an environment. What the hell is going on in high school? Amanda's shining eyes, when she was chosen as one of the 5 finalists, justified all our hopes and lifted my spirits to the maximum. My body knew what awaited me in the evening and was already sending impatient signals. Then, they eliminated 2 more contestants. I hoped, of course, but didn't really believe that Amanda could win. One of the 3 remaining ladies looked and presented herself as if she were the most expensive escort on this planet. She was superbly built. She was completely confident in herself, and when she spoke, every man in the building drooled. What a sultry and velvety voice she had. Well, she won the crown, and Amanda was ultimately chosen as the first alternate. This was better than I expected, and such a high rating from the jury really confirmed that she is a very beautiful woman. After everything was over, all 3 of my ladies had mixed feelings about the beauty queen among the moms. They quickly found and pointed out all the flaws of the winner to me. For example, that her bangs were not straight, her lipstick did not match her outfit, and the perfume of that bitch was deliberately chosen and sprayed to act as an aphrodisiac for the men on the judging panel. I knew better than to argue with them. Listening with half an ear to their grumbling and teasing chatter during the 600-mile trip back home, I realized that this was a truly special experience of family bonding. After all, my $30 were well spent. Unfortunately, something between us had already lost the appearance of restraint and tact. After the contest in Dallas, Amanda became overly confident and more ambitious, catching some sort of celebrity fever. My way or the highway seemed to be her new guiding principle. My comments and suggestions no longer meant what they used to her and were dismissed as unworthy of attention. Something about Amanda being in the spotlight and at the center of everyone's admiration changed her, and not for the better. 6 weeks later, my marriage began to fall apart. One not-so-fine day, at the dinner table, Amanda announced, "Guess who got invited to the National Beauty Contest?" Carla reacted first, "But you finished second." "No, I took the first alternate place. Mrs. Escort declined to participate, and now I'll go instead of her." She smiled widely and seemed to glow, announcing this news to us. The 3 of us congratulated Amanda. Mandy demanded to know all the details. "When and where, Mom?" "Well, that might be a problem." She hesitated a little. "The contest will take place in Hawaii in 3 weeks." I stated the obvious. "Well, you'll have to decline. We don't have that kind of money right now." "Too bad." "I thought so too, but someone offered to cover my expenses," she hurriedly interjected. Did her voice change a bit when she said that? "Wow, really, Mom? For all 4 of us?" "Well, no, just for me," she mumbled, avoiding my eyes. Mandy didn't quite like her mother's statement. "Mom, this was supposed to be a family affair. If you're going alone, it's not a family event anymore. Decline them." The conversation didn't last long and didn't lead to anything, so the atmosphere in the house quickly cooled down. We didn't talk about anything else that evening, and the girls disappeared into their rooms. Even a long sleep didn't ease the tension that had arisen. The next evening, during dinner, Mandy brought up the current topic again. "So, have you declined them, Mom?" "I haven't done anything yet. I'm still thinking about it." "What's there to think about?" I interjected. "It used to be our family event, and the fact that you're now planning to go alone wasn't part of our plans. And by the way, who agreed to pay for you?" "A local businessman," Amanda reluctantly replied after a long pause. "Don't evade. Who agreed to pay for you?" I raised my voice. "Can we talk about this later?" She frowned, still trying not to look me directly in the eye. I was starting to boil. "No? Enough evasiveness, Amanda. Who agreed to pay for you?" "Nick Monroe," she finally squeezed out. "So, Nick Monroe is your first love? Are you planning to go to Hawaii with your ex-boyfriend?" "Well, isn't that wonderful?" My voice dripped with venomous sarcasm. Carla chimed in. "It sounds like a date, Mom. A weekend date. Married women don't go on dates." Jumping up from her chair, Amanda was almost shouting. Her face reddened and contorted. "It's not a date. He's just paying for my plane tickets and hotel room." I shot back. You're not going anywhere. Period. End of discussion. That's it. With a fierce glare drilling into me, Amanda spun around furiously and stormed into our bedroom. Probably to emphasize her stance on the conversation and all of us, she slammed the bedroom door with a loud bang. Mandy quietly said, "This is wrong, Dad. Don't let her go. Do you think she's been seeing this? Nick behind our backs?" My stomach twisted and groaned. Damn it. Could she really? I didn't even want to think about it. Right or wrong, I knew I would have to bring up this topic when I was alone with Amanda. That night, the door to my bedroom remained locked. I slept on the couch in the living room. Both girls were busy with schoolwork, so when I returned home from work the next evening, only Amanda greeted me. "Carl, whatever you may think, this isn't a date. I'm going to Hawaii," she stated right away. "With Nick? I don't know if he's going or not. It doesn't matter at all. I'm just going as a contestant." "I see. So now you're lying about something you clearly know. I guess that tells me where our marriage stands. How long have you and Nick been back together?" "What?" she exclaimed wide-eyed. "It's a simple question, damn it. You damn well know he's going too. Are you two going to share a room?" "Screw you." Amanda couldn't hold back. "With your attitude, maybe I will. Seems like you don't trust me at all." "What did you just say?" I erupted, and Amanda, eyes wide, backed away. "Are you so out of your mind that you want to get back at me by sleeping with Nick? Then fuck off, you crap."
I'm sorry.
Realizing she had gone too far, Amanda retreated. "I shouldn't have said that, and I didn't mean it. Why don't you trust me?" "And you still ask why? You tried to hide that Nick paid for your ticket. Then you tried to lie about whether Nick is going there." Another thought crossed my mind. "Hold on, answer me one question. Before you came home and told us all about your new opportunity, did you have a chance to talk to Nick beforehand?" Uh-huh. I can see by your eyes that something's fishy. Well, you're right. I think you're cheating on me with Nick." "I'm not cheating," she screamed hysterically. "He just called me to say he saw a press release that the winner declined the invitation to go to Hawaii." "Sounds highly suspicious," I scoffed. "And I repeat, you're not going, or our marriage is going to hell." "No, I am going, and it's not a date." She stamped her foot angrily and stood there, hands on hips, puffing like a fire-breathing dragon. "And not a romantic weekend. I'll only be there as a contest participant." Amanda grabbed her keys. "I need some fresh air. Make your own dinner." I couldn't resist, venomously adding as she fled. "Running off to spend some time with your boyfriend? I bet this whole scandal was planned just for that." Amanda instantly spun around and hurled her keys at me, missing, then stormed down the hallway like a tornado. This time, the poor door slammed with such force that I might have to deal with a splintered mess. She stayed holed up in her dragon's den for the rest of the evening. From then on, everything went sideways. Carla and Mandy interacted with Amanda very dryly, answering her with just yes or no. Amanda herself completely ignored me. On top of it all, my not-so-young back begged for mercy, no longer able to endure sleeping on the hard couch, so I booked myself a room at an extended stay hotel. Knowing full well that Amanda might hear me, I said loudly enough to Carla and Mandy before heading to the hotel, "Let me know if your mom's entertaining her boyfriend here." "Sure thing, Dad. Or even better, take us with you," the girls pleaded. Amanda immediately emerged from the kitchen. "Where do you think you're going?" She frowned. "I have a hotel room. You've been keeping the door to my bedroom closed too often lately." I still came home after work. Of course, mostly I did it to spend more time with Mandy and Carla. Only after the girls went to bed did I return to my hotel. What I really couldn't understand was how the hell everything fell apart so quickly. Why did Amanda suddenly insist on drawing a line in the sand about something she initially didn't want to be involved in at all? The day of Amanda's departure arrived. I felt crushed. Considering how she'd been behaving lately, in my mind, this was a romance laden with the fact that she'd reconnected with her ex. Amanda's stubborn confidence that I was talking nonsense just infuriated me. Packing her suitcase, she nervously waited for me at the kitchen table. "Amanda, This is your last chance, I warned her. If you go to Hawaii, our marriage is over. Stop being dramatic. She retorted, I'm going as a contestant. You're not going to destroy our marriage over this. It's not a date, period. You're wrong. It is a date. You've been hiding your connection with Nick, and I'm not going to just accept that. I cut in, but apparently my words couldn't penetrate her mind. Stop it, Carl. It's not a date, she kept insisting, like a broken record. I'll never get another chance like this. Can't you just be happy for me? I warned you. Don't expect your credit cards to keep working after you leave. Amanda just rolled her eyes and waved off my warnings as if they were nothing. Both Carla and Mandy, who had repeatedly lectured Amanda on how wrong everything she was doing in the past few days, showed up in the kitchen during our latest feudal argument in very high spirits. This only saddened me more. How could they be so cheerful when I'm dying inside? Entering, the girls chorused, Mom, close your eyes. A wide smile lit up Amanda's face. She raised her hands to cover her eyes.
No peeking.
Don't spread your fingers. Let me help you, said Mandy, approaching closer. She positioned Amanda's hands so that her elbows were pointing straight out from her face. When Amanda's palms tightly closed her eyes, her vision was blocked. Now, don't open your eyes, warned Carla. They're closed, grumbled Amanda. After these words from their mother, Carla pulled out 2 small cups from behind her back. Mandy carefully took one, and they glanced at each other. I saw them silently mouth with their lips, 3, 2, 1. Bright red liquid splashed onto Amanda's face from both sides. As I later found out, it was called Red Dragon. It was ink for a fountain pen, a quite resilient type that takes a few weeks to disappear from your skin. When the liquid splashed onto her face, Amanda screamed, What the hell? In response, Mandy shouted to her stunned mother, Wives don't go on dates. If you've ever seen a raccoon, you can imagine this scene. This bewildered raccoon had a very red face, equally bright fists, and a light stripe along its eyes. Amanda's hair was tousled and also smeared with red blotches. The raccoon skeptically looked at its fists and comically grimaced, mouth gaping. Tension hung in the kitchen. I couldn't help myself. I started laughing and couldn't stop. Carla and Mandy, unsure of how I would react, felt relieved and joined me, giggling and pointing fingers. As soon as Amanda saw her crimson hands, she felt her chances of winning the contest rapidly diminish. She zoomed past us, darting into the bathroom, and the wild scream she let out upon seeing herself in the mirror is something I won't soon forget. We were still chuckling as we followed her towards the bathroom, and when Amanda emerged after a while, that wild scream, upon seeing herself in the mirror, is something I won't soon forget. We were still chuckling as we followed her towards the bathroom, and when Amanda emerged after a while, shooting us a withering glance. Without a word, she stormed down the hallway and slammed the long-suffering door of our bedroom shut once again. Later in the evening when Nick arrived, he knocked on the door, but none of us answered. Amanda, your guy's here. I knocked on the bedroom door just in case and called out to her. I received no response, and the bedroom door remained locked. The incessant doorbell ringing and then loud banging after a few minutes became unbearable. Throwing open the front door and leaving the outer screen door latched, I addressed the jerk outside. Sorry, Nick. Looks like she changed her mind. Nick's smug expression quickly disappeared, and he reached for his phone. The raccoon sponsor tried to call Amanda's cell, but it was in her purse next to her suitcase in the hallway, so all his buzzing amounted to nothing. Hopefully, Monroe spent a fortune on a hotel reservation with a non-refundable deposit. After Nick finally took off, I assessed the damage. Firstly, the kitchen carpet will need replacing. No big deal. I wanted to switch to laminate anyway. The trail of red droplets led me from the kitchen to the bathroom. Well, looks like we'll also need to replace the carpet in the hallway. The matching set for the bathroom was no longer matching. However, replacing it will be fairly cheap. Several towels lying in the laundry basket were smeared with red. The only thing missing was that no one managed to photograph the moment of the attack or Amanda's face right after. Come on, girls. Let's go treat ourselves to some ice cream, I suggested to Mandy and Carla and they happily agreed to a stroll at the cafe. We had heart-to-heart conversations, enjoying triple scoops and waffle cones. "What now, Dad? Are you going to divorce Mom?" they asked me, their question tinged with concern. "It's too early to talk about that, ladies. Although it's clear to the three of us that what she's doing is tearing our marriage apart, she obviously doesn't see it that way. At least for now, we probably need some time apart. We might have to officially separate and then undergo some counseling," I sighed, describing the current situation and my approach to the problem. "Please, Dad, don't make us stay with her." Mandy's concerns were not unfounded. I wouldn't want to see what kind of revenge she has in store for us. For dinner, we brought home a large pizza. Amanda's portion remained untouched. If she did come out of the locked bedroom, it was only when we weren't around, and her purse and suitcase still stood by the door. Despite having a paid hotel room on that first night, I slept on the large sofa in the living room. At the same time, I genuinely worried about Carla and Mandy's safety. However, nothing else extraordinary happened, and throughout the whole Saturday, we neither saw nor heard from Amanda. I spent Saturday night in my hotel room. Damn, buying a new sofa is probably cheaper for me than staying in this hotel. When we returned from Sunday brunch, late breakfast, we found that Amanda's purse was missing, although her car was still in the garage. I didn't immediately understand why, but after receiving a text from Amanda, I understood why she only grabbed her purse. "Are you leaving me?" she wrote. "It's too early to say. When will we see you again?" I replied. "I extended my leave at work. Right now, I look just awful," read her sour message. "The longer you avoid me, the more likely it is that I will divorce you." My warning text flew towards the bedroom. After that, I heard the lock click and the bedroom door slowly opened. We didn't need a photo of the moment when everything happened. The Scarlet Raccoon returned. All I had to do was not laugh, which honestly was quite difficult. Although our girls, peeking out from behind my back, couldn't resist commenting on Amanda's amusing appearance. "Such a cool look, Mom," Mandy happily exclaimed. "I love what you've done with your eyelashes." Carla giggled, adding her comment. "Girls, leave your mom alone," I demanded. Pointing towards the bedroom, Amanda addressed me. "Can we talk? Alone?" As soon as the door closed, her voice came quietly. "We had a good marriage, didn't we?" "I thought so, but perhaps that was naive," I replied in a similarly soft tone. "Did you take your phone to keep in touch with your boyfriend?" "He's not my boyfriend," she snapped, then took a deep breath and composed herself. "Okay, I acted foolishly. Here, look at what he sent me and how I responded." Amanda took her phone, unlocked it, and showed me the messages. "Nick, too bad you changed your mind. Hawaii is so romantic. I think we could make up for lost time. Give me a call sometime." "Amanda, we would not be making up for lost time. I was going to a beauty pageant, nothing else. I never want to hear from you again." I checked her call log and texts. All I found was a single call to her boss's work number. All recent texts were either to me or responses to Nick's messages. Maybe there's still hope for us. "Maybe it's just a trick to catch me off guard," I continued skeptically. "You must have been in touch with him. If you really cared about our marriage, you would have told me about his contacts with you. Unless, of course, you were the one who reached out to him first. Where are the calls and texts you exchanged?" I didn't think. I deleted them all. I was so mad at myself." Amanda defended herself. "I just wanted it all to be over as soon as possible. Now that you've asked about it, I realize I should have shared this with you.
I'm sorry.
I don't have any boyfriends, or lovers either. He contacted me and I messed up, okay?
I'm sorry.
Please don't leave me." Her voice took on pleading tones, and she kept sniffing. I didn't know what to say. Silently, I handed Amanda her phone back. With anxious eyes, she approached me. "Are you going to sleep in our bedroom tonight?"
No.
"We need some time apart. The level of disrespect you've shown me, it's not something I can quickly get over." This prompted a new flood of tears and sobbing, interspersed with constant repetitions. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Did I mention that our daughters were clever girls? Let me put a star next to that statement. While we were talking, Mandy and Carla printed out several ads from people looking for clowns for children's birthday parties. After they slid these sheets under the bedroom door, I saw Amanda so enraged for the first time. Tears instantly stopped, and she rocketed off the bed before bursting out of the door in angry fury. "Ladies, I'm still your mother, and I can turn your life into hell. Get out from here." Shocked, both daughters disappeared around the corner with piercing screams, and after a little scurry down the corridor, the sound of their bedroom doors slamming shut was heard. Alone now, I chuckled. I think the lesson was learned by all parties. Later, in the afternoon, Amanda came down to the kitchen and, as if nothing had happened, began to prepare dinner. Carla and Mandy had hidden themselves in their shared bathroom. I couldn't help but laugh when I saw them reappear. The girls had used makeup and face paint to give themselves the appearance of raccoons. Staying at a safe distance, out of Amanda's sight as she busied herself with cooking, Mandy called out from the hallway, "Hey, Mom, you know how people support those going through chemotherapy and losing their hair? Well, they shave their own hair. What do you think about that?" My striped raccoon daughters appeared at the kitchen doorway, smiling uncertainly and casting wary glances at their mother, waiting for her reaction and ready to flee if necessary. When Amanda turned around, her expression changed from shock to anger and then to laughter. The relieved daughters, with raccoon faces, giggled as they jumped around their mother. A group hug smeared the makeup on their faces. Perhaps there is still hope for us. Amanda couldn't take any more leave, so she quit her previous job. It took a month before she felt confident enough to be seen in public without looking like a painted wonder. The person who replaced her at her old company didn't handle their duties too well, so Amanda was asked to return to her previous position. We continued to pay off our debts and started to slowly accumulate new savings. After 2 marriage counseling sessions, I returned home. Amanda was convinced that she needed additional individual counseling. Gradually, my thoughts and opinions began to matter to her again. It will take some time, but I think in the foreseeable future, we'll make it work. The results of the national competition held in Hawaii were published online. Although personally, I think Amanda is just lovely, the top 5 finalists in the competition were in a completely different league. Let's just say there are strategically super enhanced moms among them. Carla and Mandy secretly whispered to me that Amanda wouldn't have become a finalist anyway. Even they could see the difference between Amanda and those beauties. Revenge can be quite harsh sometimes. Sometime after these events, Mandy promised to go to prom with a very shy boy. This happened a few weeks before she returned home from college, and by the time the event rolled around, she had completely forgotten about it. On the day of the prom, as Mandy was getting dressed and preparing to leave home with another guy, her backup date, Amanda sneaked up behind her and poured a glass of syrup over her head. It ruined Mandy's hairstyle, makeup, and dress. Cried the shocked daughter in despair, freezing in place with her arms outstretched and the sticky mass dripping down. "Didn't my fiasco teach you anything?" Snapped the angry mother. "If you gave your word, then keep it." Mandy cried continuously all weekend. Out of self-preservation, we all kept our distance from her. Carla knows that her own prom is coming up, and she's very worried about it. The new carpet in the hallway and the laminate in the kitchen look great, and I'm still contemplating whether I should give Amanda the stuffed raccoon I bought for her for Christmas. Something tells me that might be a bit life-threatening,